What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Off the Radar is finally back. Lewis and I are each going to pick 3 albums that we think are underrated, underappreciated, or unknown. And we're going to tell you what we like about them so that you can have something to listen to this weekend and show some love to these awesome albums. And Lewis is going to go first. We've got his album pulled up here. So, Lewis, what do you have to say about this F- record?
Yeah, so I'm continuing my trend of like picking the hardest albums I can pretty much find to bring to this thing, but I'm going with F-'s 2003 Wake Up Screaming. I feel like I picked this album. I think Suburban Blight is definitely the more popular of the F- albums, but I just feel in general like F- is not a super well known band, I guess, to an extent. We kind of talked about this offline, but they always felt like just like a band that was on Hellcat that existed that you would get on give them the boot samples and stuff, right? But I really liked a lot of their records. It kind of like harkened back to like a lot of the 80s punk, a lot really fast. I really like the dueling vocals. Might be the only time I really like a female vocalist in a band. No offense, ladies. But I really like the dueling vocals in F-. But Wake Up Screaming came out in 2003. It's the last album they put out. F- themselves were formed in '95 in Huntington Beach, and Brad Logan, who was primary lead guy for F- went on to join Leftover Crack, which obviously ended up being a really good career shift for him. A lot bigger band and a super nice guy. But looking at the track list here, Sweating Blood is a very well-known song off this one, so going with the opening track is really good. But it's a couple of my favorites: Here Lies Jessica, The Iconoclast, and honestly, a lot of these songs pretty much just bleed into each other, and they're not that long either. You could listen to the entirety of F- discography in like an hour flat over like 3 albums. So just put it on, kind of go for the experience. It's going to be brutal. John, I know you're not a big F- guy or didn't listen to him a lot. Do you have any thoughts on this album?
No. I was saying, like, this is a band that I listened to when they were on Splits. We saw them a handful of times, but yeah. I've never sat down with one of their albums, and it's interesting. 15 songs, 35 minutes, and then we were saying the other 2 are both 20 songs. This one's 17 minutes, and this one is 20 songs in 23 minutes. So just quick, efficient punk. That's the way I like it. So. Yeah, you guys can listen to all 3 F- albums in about an hour and 15 minutes. So
yeah,
there you go for it. I'll get us into my first pick here, and I'm gonna do something different on mine if I could spell these band names correctly. I'm going to do 3 European bands from 3 different countries, and combined they're going to have less than 150 total listeners. This first band I'm going to talk about has 9 listeners, and this is Total Krieg, I think it's pronounced. This album is called I Don't Want to Be a Star, and judging by the 9 listeners, they don't have to worry about it. But this is it's an album that's it's skate punk. It's got a little bit of pop punk. I would describe it as like a mix of Bigwig and Pennywise. It's just fast, melodic, skate punk style. And my favorite song on here is gonna be the last track. There's only 8 songs, 22 minutes, so it's just about as long as any Leftover Crack F- album. But yeah, My Life, My Way is gonna be my definite choice here. That'll be the clip that I'll definitely play. And for you guys who are fans of newer skate punk, newer, faster punk, this band could fit in perfectly on any People of Punk Rock or Thousand Islands record roster. That's kind of what you're going to get here. So Bigwig, Pennywise, fast skate punk, 9 monthly listeners, unacceptable, guys. Go check this out. Lewis, I'm assuming you are not one of the 9. But any thoughts on the album cover or anything else about this Total Krieg?
I don't have a good view of the album art here. I got my face is in the way in my UI, so let me take a look. I don't know. Nothing jumps out at me. I guess I'm curious how you found out about him.
I have no idea, man. You know me, I don't sleep well when I'm not reading my high fantasy books. I am scouring the internet for obscure European punk bands. So, one, I stumbled across it one way or the other.
All right, well, I'll continue it, I guess. And I don't think this one's on Spotify, so it's going to be hard because this is another album by a very little-known band called Bad Religion. You guys may not know, they were formed in California in 1980. No, so I'm doing a joke here, obviously, but we just wrapped up our Bad Religion. Yeah, so someone made an album list, but it's not technically the album. So, we just finished up our Bad Religion Guess the Song. I think it's been mentioned a few times. Bad Religion's my all-time favorite band. So obviously a lot of their albums well-known, very popular. But Tested is an album that seems to fly under the radar because it was released in America. It was released in Europe, I believe, in Japan. I remember getting it via weird mail order back in the day because this is before Amazon and digital music. So I still have the original CD. This is my favorite live album of all time. I wish there was some more Bad Religion songs. It's pretty heavy on the Gray Race and stuff, but it's good. And I really love that it's the way it sounds sonically. I guess the way they recorded it was they had direct line feeds into like a mixing station outside of each show that they played, so that they got like the raw audio that they were outputting, which is really cool. And it doesn't get totally crowded out by crowd noise as well, which is, either faked on a lot of these live recordings, and in this one it's kind of like not even a focus, which I like. So it's a pretty good album. It's got 3 originals on it. Its Reciprocal's okay. Dream of Unity is a little bit boring, and then Tested, the title track, is quite good. I was a little upset that John didn't pick that on his Guess the Song obscure ones for the bonuses, but just one I think people should know. It's a really good album. Hunt it down. This track list represents the track list, but it's not the album. So if you can get your hands on it, it's available on Discogs and everywhere else, but it's a really great album. So that's my pick.
So you said this is #1 live album for you, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's an episode we should do one of these days, I think. Best.
Yeah.
It's just going to be like this, and Face to Face has got to be there.
That's a good one. And then, the No Effects. I heard they suck live, the original. Right?
Yeah.
I really like that one, too.
All right,
we should do the worst live albums, because I think we probably have a more funny episode with that. So
I'd be down. All right, so Bad Religion, Tested, great pick. I hate to admit this, but I don't know if I've ever listened to it, so maybe I'll be one of the guys that seeks it out on Discogs and gives it a good listen. So my next pick is going to be this band called Fair, and the I is an explanation point. We got 71 monthly listeners here. I'm going to go with the self-titled album, and I think these guys had potential to be pretty big. They're a German punk band. The vocals kind of remind me of Just Insane from Anti-Flag, but the music itself is more like 3-4 chord punk, kind of like Ann Beretta or Green Day. And on this album here, there's 2 main standouts. The first is going to be Lonesome Loser here, track 9. But the one that I listen to most is this track 10, All Star. And it's kind of a joke. It's a reimagining of Smash Mouth's All Star, but they kind of like muck up the lyrics. But if you're like me and you think All Star by Smash Mouth is a pretty good song, but you're kind of embarrassed to admit it, then here's your solution right here. These guys play essentially the same thing, but it's a little more punk style. The lyrics are funny. And yeah, this is Fair, good pop punk for fans of Amberetta Green Day style, but like a little bit poppier. I think people will like this. I don't know why this band only has 75 listeners. They've got another record too, and I think they released something a couple years ago, but I'm a big fan of these guys. So Louis, anything to say about Fair or Smash Mouth or anything related to this?
Well, I think the fall of Smash Mouth is going to make a great documentary one day where he was doing Nazi salutes last year at like a county fair. That seems like an interesting story. But I really dig the typography though on Fair using the exclamation point. So bonus points. I always like a good logo, and I like the simplicity of their album. So bonus points. I've never heard them. So
Yeah, they just did the same thing but reversed on this one, just black.
oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's all right. I like that. I like a theme too. So that's no art is a theme, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody once told me something I didn't listen and I didn't give a shit at all. So fuck you all! Yeah!
All right, what do you got
Jump in my
next?
third one here? Yeah, let's jump into my third one. So sticking with my kind of taste, and this is one that I've been meaning to group in, but I guess it's connected to the Leftover Crack family again. So sorry, guys, but I like a lot of these bands. But it's one that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, is Introspect. Hopefully you can find them, John.
It's like a 5, right? There you
It's
go.
a 5, yeah, there you go. So I did pick Real Politic as my album because that seems a very polished album, although I really like their self-titled album as well. So Introspect is kind of like an electro-pop punk band that was formed in like the late 90s. They're technically still around. I think they just played their first show in a while. But yeah, it's very interesting. A lot different, obviously, than you would expect from a punk band. A lot of electronic jumping around. But it's quite fun. Real Politic itself is interesting because it includes SZA doing vocals on a couple songs, and they do a cover of Nazi White Trash on here, which is really good with a little bit of the electronic undertones. So yeah, this album came out in 2007. So highlights from this one, I mean, there's only 6 tracks or so. Was it 6 or 7? So
7, yeah.
they're all pretty good. So I would stick with just giving this one a listen. John, have you heard Introspect before at all?
I've heard the Nazi White Trash cover. I'm pretty sure I had this on my playlist at some point. But other than that, I don't know if I listen. I know you guys loved this back in the day, but I don't know if I ever truly got into it. But
Yeah.
I'll revisit. I like the album cover, and I like their font here too. So I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's cool.
It looks like they've got.
All right.
Is this them or is this another? They've put out something in 2019 apparently. I thought they
Oh,
were.
really? I knew they put out. I knew they were playing back together. I guess. It's a single. So
Yeah.
maybe they did. I haven't heard it yet, to be honest. So, actually, and you know what? I don't even think the self-titled album is on Spotify.
No.
So, I guess you're gonna have to track that down. But it is really good, I think, as well. I have the track list up now. So I guess the highlights, obviously, like you said. Nazi White Trash is obviously the standout and obviously a punk standard, so it's good. But Crooked Lies is really awesome, and so is Oppressing You. I think those are my 2 other favorite tracks. So good album.
You believe what you want, don't shove it down our throats. Your life tastes like poison, we're not gonna choke.
All right, so that we're on the last one already. We're trying to make these a little faster. This I can never find this band on here, so let me see. I think this is them. Okay, here we go. So this is my last pick. This is Fastlane, 46 monthly listeners. And the album I'm going to pick here is Life on a Slackline Strap. Came out in 2020. And this band, I think Punk Rock Mag in Costa Rica recommended these guys to me. They are from France, and this album's kind of like Satanic Surfers, No Fun at All style, pop punk, skate punk, more pretty much like what I've been saying this whole episode. And it's just super catchy. And what I like about these guys is not just real fast skate punk. They also have like 2 and 3 part melodies on a lot of the songs. It's just overall a great album. 12 songs, 20 minutes, so you can sit down and bang it out real fast. My favorite songs are going to be track 1, Here's Your Happy Ending, and then track 4, Points of Agreement. I think the whole thing's pretty good, though. I think if you like a lot of like Euro skate punk, I think you'll be right at home with this one. Another one that would sound perfectly normal on a People of Punk Rock compilation or anything. It's just that style that's building up popularity now. So that's it. I mean, Lewis, are you one of the 46 Fastlane or anything to say about this one? Pretty good album art.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, I have a general question, I guess. So we've mentioned this before, but you just got you. Okay, where were all the bands from? What countries?
So Total Krieg was from Italy. I assume Germany, but it was Italy. Fair was from Germany, and Fastlane here is from France.
Okay, so yeah, France on this one. So you know, one of the most charming parts about Millencolin is kind of their weird usage of vocabulary when singing in English. Do you see that same trait happening with any of these bands, or is it a little bit more straightforward by the book?
It's tough. Like, I'm not a huge lyrics guy, especially on stuff like this, where, you know, I like it, but it's not like a band like Millencolin where I spent like, you know, weeks
Ages,
listening to
yeah.
like Penny Bridge and For Monkeys and stuff. So there's probably like little nuances here with the language, but I would say like nothing that, you know, really stuck out. You know, I think we really noticed with Millencolin, like when you see them live, you know, and the in between banter, then, you know, that's when you're really going to notice it. But yeah, that'll wrap this one up, guys. If there's something you think we should check out that we haven't said yet, this is episode like 10, I think. So there's been like close to 100 albums we've talked about. But just put it down below in the comments, or New Way is the Discord channel. Right now we've got like 6 people in there. So if you want to join, there's a new music section on there. You can put in whatever you think we'd enjoy or something you think we'd hate if you want to play a joke on us. And that's it. I'll leave a link for both of those down below. And before we go, Lewis is the proud owner of a brand new table and chairs set. So Lewis, anything to say about your table and chairs, or anything else going on in your life you'd like to share?
No, but this table is really dope, man. It's a dope table. I got it for a good deal too from these old people becoming snowbirds. So I really like it. Even with the glass top, I think I'll just deal with it because of the smudges, but I'll take these black chairs, and now I at least have somewhere to sit to get a different view when we do these videos. So I guess it's a good thing.
All right. Yeah, so that'll wrap it up. Thank you all for watching, and congratulations to Lewis on the table, and we will see you all next time.